Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and welcome back to Cards in Hand, the podcast all about the One Piece TCG and a little bit of regular One Piece lore and all that good stuff sprinkled in. But we have a pretty deep episode here today, going over maybe a little bit less like gameplay results and stuff that we've been seeing since the post Nationals conversation that we had in the last episode, but more into what is coming up in the future, and also to start off what has just happened recently for us here in the West for the One Piece card game. But yeah, man, it's been a little bit. It's been what, like about 3 weeks since?
4 weeks?
Has it been a month? Maybe like
Because it was like the end of September for Nats, and we did that episode I think like that week after.
yeah.
It's been about a month. Been about a
Okay.
month.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, both of us, have had quite a bit going on. Like I've been planning for my honeymoon, if you will, more of a later moon slash anniversary trip with my wife. I'm leaving literally in 2 days for a trip to Japan. So super excited. I'll be in the East, not exactly playing card games though, because my wife would kill me. But
Yep.
definitely going to be shopping around for some cards. That'll be fun. Uh,
Yeah, I'm so happy that for y'all to finally be able to go to Japan,
yeah,
and just enjoy it. And then I think it's good. Just like 13 will be out, but I think to a certain degree it'll be easier for you coming back too. You get to like get all these cards once they're already cheaper,
yeah,
and
true.
people already made a couple like meta finds and stuff, and Japan's gonna be worth it, obviously. So
Yeah. No, I'm super stoked, man. And it's interesting that you say that actually about some of the cards being cheaper. Excuse me, and having because like the first week is always like it's just a madhouse. You never know what you're going to get for prices. It feels like sometimes you'll see the most extortionate of prices for certain cards, and then literally within a week or two they just absolutely plummet.
yeah,
And I think that's one thing that we've definitely been seeing with a lot of the newer sets is obviously back in like the day when it was like what OP01 through I would say maybe OP07, like OP06, OP07. It felt like the printing was a lot less, especially OP01 through OP03. OP04 was when it really started to
yeah,
you could notice they ramped up, right? But OP01 through OP03, it was very tough sometimes to get your hands on certain cards because it was just like the lack of cards was incredible. And we don't seem to have that problem anymore, which is amazing, which means getting your hands on cards is pretty easy. But we've also had, Bandai coming out with a solution to a lot of the cards being lost in previous sets and not being able to get these cards anymore, through the PRB collection boxes that they were doing essentially. So, we've had like reprints of a lot of cards in PRB01, and now, as of recent, reprints with PRB02. And I want to hear about what your experience before we get into like kind of the main topic of PRB02. What has your experience been on, one, maybe just like getting your hands on product, two, getting your hands on the necessary cards?
so with PRB, this is the first set since basically like '05 that I wasn't able to get like a full case for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could have just for like outrageous price, which I wasn't
Yeah.
interested in. Um, because even like last PRB one, we got a case which like in hindsight was like bad, at least at the time, and then look at how it skyrocketed over time, I guess.
Yeah.
But like in theory, like the value that you were pulling, especially as someone that was playing since '01, it sucked, and that's why PRB one did so bad in Japan. And then that's why they added new cards to try to incentivize players to buy PRB. And apparently, it still sold pretty bad in Japan. And I think part of that is just because everything's so cheap in Japan, people don't need to like buy, especially when
Yeah.
it's primarily reprints. But for me, I got like 4 boxes, and then I won one in like a win a box and another one in like a crane game. So I think I ended up opening like 6 boxes. Uh, Best pull was Gum Gum Giant, and that was like
Ooh.
unironically it. I think after that, my next best pull was like regular Marco SRs.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so they weren't like, really good boxes, but like obviously Giant was a good pull, like a really good pull. Um, Getting all the rares and stuff, I definitely saw boxes where like there would literally not be a single new card. Like a friend of mine, he opened like 3 boxes, and
Yeah.
there were good boxes. Like it was an SP box. One of his boxes was a Giant box as well, and like a Gold Don box too. So like they were still good, like, but it was so funny because he's like pulling, obviously Heat, and then he's like, I didn't pull a single new card,
Yeah.
not a single rare or SR,
Wow, really? Not even a
and
rare.
not even a rare.
Wow.
And then there were times, I think like 5 of the 6 boxes I opened,
Mm.
and then almost a friend of mine did get like a case or two, and I was there to open like one of them.
Mm.
Almost every time I opened the box, I got like 8 new rares and like 2 to 3 new SRs, which is actually pretty
In one
fine.
box?
Yeah, in one box.
That's
Consistently. Like rather consistently.
that's
I was
really good.
opening like 8 rares and like up to 4 like new SRs, which is pretty good. Cuz like if you think about it, basically any SR in this set is good.
Yeah.
In a normal set, you'll pull 7 SRs, but like 3 of them they just don't see play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so realistically, for those boxes individually, it's actually okay, the pull rates are like kind of fine. Um but obviously, I mean, at one point, as I was getting my alts, I was able to sell Kobe's for $10 for no reason.
Oh, I know.
Zoro's still like $8 right now. I sold a couple for like 10 when they're at 15, just to like locals, just trying to help them. I'm like, dude, I don't know why it's 15, but I also can't give it to you for $2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess we'll do 60%, give me 10, I guess. Stuff like that. And so it wasn't too bad. FOMO definitely made me pick up my alt art Marcos faster than I wanted to, but I also got them for good prices.
Okay.
Like I paid 60 for one on day one, because on day one Marco was 80,
Mm.
and I went somewhere to pick up my pre-order, and some guy pulled it, and I was like, "Would you do 60 since it's like day one and it should go down?" He was like, "Yeah, it's pretty fair. Almost everything goes down."
Oh
So
no.
he did it, and obviously it skyrockets. Marco's closer to like 90 now, I think.
It's
It'll probably
definitely
go up
yeah.
really soon.
It hit like a
But
plateau for a minute. Yeah.
I mean, at one point it was like 140.
I know. I
I
was
traded
like,
for
yo.
one, bought like the other two for like one for 80, and pulled another one. So like I really didn't spend too much, but I was really scared of it becoming like a $200 card.
Yeah.
So I ended up trading like 2 of my Gear 5 10 cost Luffy's and some money on top. Like they gave me money to
Yeah.
like get my last one. Um, but a lot of my friends, I mean, even now, I'm sure a lot of my friends don't have playsets of rares and stuff.
Dude, I
The
don't.
good thing is that it's just like I think most of the cards in PRB are actually pretty good. I think
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the worst one in a vacuum, and it's probably technically Ace because it's so specific. Because like Jinbei at
Yeah.
its core, it's just a 4-drop that searches. That's a decent card, and it's searching like the best archetype in that color.
Yeah.
Otama's a really good 2K for like multiple decks. Um, the other like Kobe is obviously a really good red card. Zoro's a pretty good green 2K. So like all these cards are like pretty good and playable,
Yeah.
but they're just like, but they're also not meta defining. Like not a single one is a must of, four of in neither PRB format nor in 13. Doesn't look like any of these cards really get abused in EBO3 either. Really, the only card that sees play um, past PRB format is Marco.
I now I would also argue the 2 cost rare Nami is
Oh, that one's crazy too.
yeah. That's like a
But that one's
staple
not even too
in-
bad right now. It's like a $2 rare,
Yep.
which is like fine. That's
Yeah.
okay. For now, until 15, they announced a purple straw hat, and everyone's like, "Oh wait, we need these because we didn't grab them." So if
Yeah.
you haven't grabbed yours, you should probably do that.
Yeah.
But TLDR, it wasn't too bad. Most shops have PRB, at least in Austin. I think even now there's a shop that has some. They're pricing it at 160, but I feel like prior sets, even those would be scooped up at like 160.
Sure.
So it's sitting a little bit. Most people enjoy the format. Like everyone's having fun playing Pudding and Kata and all these new decks. Like Dofi's been coming back locally. all these decks have been coming back. So like at a local level, it's been really fun to just see what people are cooking up or just bringing back out. Like I brought out Dofi because it's so many altards thanks to the 7 Warlord binder.
Yeah.
Never again though. That deck is dead. That deck is dead. Not a good deck. I don't think Jinbei saves it, and that's why I'm not looking forward to OP14 Jinbei because I'm like, if Dofi can't do it,
Yeah.
that sure ain't getting it done.
Jinbei ain't doing it.
But it wasn't too bad. And then right now, I mean, all the prices generally speaking are getting better too. Really, Marco's the only thing that's still above like $10.
Yeah.
Everything else is under that, which is somewhat reasonable. Like we're not used to SRs being 15, $16, which will eventually spike in like 2 weeks because of Ace inevitably. But
yeah.
I mean, at its core, when you look at other games, $15 super staple SR that's going to be in damn near every blue deck going forward.
That's
probably not.
That's one thing is
outrageous
with PRB. Like there are a few cards that I just think are, in my opinion, like a must pick up, even if you don't plan on playing the decks. I think if you eventually a leader comes out that you want to play and it needs this card, like you got to get some of these. Like the Marco is just such a generically good SR. It's unbelievably good, and for its price right now, it's probably the lowest it will be. So, if you can find these for $15 locally or something like that, or even just picking them up for like 16, $17 off TCG Player, I hate to say it, but I recommend it. Like, I wouldn't go as far as saying like, oh, you should be buying this card, like right now a bunch, but this is just one of those SRs that not only after OP13 comes out, when Ace is playable, more people are gonna be picking them up. You're also gonna have new people coming to the game, recognizing that they want to play this leader, and they're realizing, oh, I need all of these, so I need to go pick up 4 different versions of this card. So let's get them while you can, because if you don't, you're gonna regret it, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is eventually gonna be like a $40 SR or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely 100% believe that this is a card that will be seeing a reprint in the future of some sort, whether it's probably of multiple sorts, if I'm being honest with you. I could see this card being like an SP in a future set. I could see it being like a prize card. I could see it being a what's the other thing? I don't know if I would go with like a reprint through it might be a reprint through a PRB, but like I think they might go a different route where it's where they have like a new starter deck, and how some starter decks have like cards from previous sets and whatnot that work well for them, and that was like their form of reprinting it. I could see Marco potentially being one of those cases. The unique part as far as that is concerned is I'm not entirely sure if they have done starter decks where they had some reprints that are SRs specifically. Like normally I feel like they're always rares, uncommons, and commons. I don't know if there's any of those like random reprints that aren't foiled or whatnot that are SRs.
Really only did that for the Learn to Play set that just came out, like the Zoro Nami ST21 Luffy that they did.
And it had Cavendish.
Those like had secrets and SRs that were reprinted no foil.
Yeah.
And so like I think they're open to it, and I mean we'll see, because I think if Bandai is already seeing this and they're like, oh, we were planning on doing like another blue wipe your starter deck, I guess. Like maybe we should just put in 2 unfoiled Marcos or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, but yeah, like I agree. I think Marco, as you said, SP candidate, prize card candidate, obviously like PRB3 candidate, if not sooner.
But legitimately, it might be. It's just funny to me to think about like an PRB03 reprinting a PRB02 card. Like that just made so silly. That's pretty silly. But and that's something I kind of wanted to like really make this discussion about as we're starting the episode today, is what do we think about how do we feel about them? Because I know you mentioned before that Japan's sales for PRB01 weren't so hot, so they were like, okay, you know what? Let's put new cards, since PRB01 only had one new card. It was the leader, Sanji.
Hmm.
And you could just get that pretty easy. So it was like, oh, okay, perfect. Once I get my hand on that leader, I've got all the new cards I need, or I don't even have to go buy this set, and I can just wait till somebody gets a bunch of the leaders, and I can just go pick one up off of them. Um, so PRB01 was essentially, really just to help players that were maybe coming into the game that were getting priced out of it because of, ridiculous prices on certain cards. Well, now, with PRB02, they added all these new cards that like you have to get these new cards from this, and the pull rates are not great, like by any means whatsoever. They are not generous. I think when you said that when you opened up a box and you were able to find like 2 new SRs and like 8 rares or something like that like blew my mind, because I opened up 4 boxes, I'm pretty sure, and got maybe, and I mean this is being generous, I think about 16 rares, and I got probably like 6 or 7 SRs. So I luckily I am so thankful for this. I got what was it? 3 of the 4 cost Marcos that I needed
Mm.
from my boxes. So I was very happy about that. I was like, oh my God, that was the one SR that I kept pulling. I was like, thank
Yeah.
you. Of all of the SRs, that was the one I wanted. But no, it does seem like going forward, if this is the idea of adding new cards from PRB03, my thoughts personally is that I'm a little concerned if the pull rates are very similar to what we just witnessed. Obviously, this is them feeling it out because they're still, they changed pretty. Well, I don't know if I would go as far as saying like drastically, but they changed quite a bit from their marketing ideas and setup for PRB01, and then changed it a little bit for PRB02. So we could see changes in the future, but I am a little concerned that if this is how we go for the future of PRB03, it's going to get very, very tricky to navigate how to get these cards without spending an extortionate amount of money, because it's already being like, these are very sought after collectors cases, and they have, the God Pack pulls of like the Golden Dawn and all kinds of different stuff. So it's a very interesting market. And I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I kind of have a little bit of a gripe with the new cards. I don't hate it, but I think if we are going to do it, it's got to be better pull rates, because we
Yeah.
don't need as much as there are the reprints in the set. I think like the first 5 or 6 cards in a pack were basically just like, I saw so many. I don't even know if I don't think it's on camera right now, but there's it's like slightly off to my table over there. I have stacks of reprints that I don't need. I have no need for them. All I needed were the new cards. I needed the new SRs. I needed the new rares, and I was like, oh, let me get some other shiny cardboard. Let me get some other alternate arts and stuff like that. That'd be cool. But realistically, I need to get the new cards. That was my thing. So it feels as though they need to find a healthy balance, in my opinion, between collectors, reprints for new players, and current players, your current market, that just want the new cards but don't want to get priced out into buying a bunch of these boxes, or having to pay a bunch of money for rares on the secondary market, for new cards, because the hit rates are so low.
Yeah. It's. I don't. I feel like they can fix it if they just like seed it to where obviously like newer cards are more favored or more likely to be pulled.
Yeah.
But I remember when they announced new cards in PRB, I was like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
People were like, well, why? And I'm like, because it's a reprint set. We're not supposed to want to buy it if we're playing the game. Like, this is supposed to be for people like catching up, getting into the game.
Mm.
We'll buy alts for old cards that never had alts potentially, and that's about it. And so when it was announced, I was like, I don't know. I think that potentially is the only reason like sealed holds value and stuff like that, which probably will be the case if PRB02 sealed holds value. It'll be because of Dons and just because there's new cards that
Yeah.
like were somewhat they weren't necessarily low hit rate. It's just they weren't favored. So they were just put into this pool that's massive. So
Mm.
obviously mathematically you're less likely to pull it um, than any other SR because it's like a one in I think there's like 33 SRs or something. So it's a 1 in 33 as opposed to like a 1 in 11 in a regular set.
Yeah.
Um, and so because they weren't skewed in the favor for the new ones, like that was an issue. But also, I mean, if we want to also look at it like glass half full, with it being such drastically different odds, like 3 times harder to hit, if not a little bit more, maybe a little less. Are we like Law right now? I think it's like a $4 or $5 SR. Mihawk and Perona right now are $7 SRs, $8 SRs. So like it could be
Yeah.
worse. I that being said, I feel like the second any of these cards are in a super meta deck going forward, that's when they start hitting old Bon Clay and Cavendish prices because it's from a more limited set, a shorter printed set. And so that's why like if you have the ability to get these cards now, probably would. Some more like Marco is probably the biggest priority. You have time for most of these other ones. Really, the only one that I would want to get sooner than later is Law, because we know that he's a leader in 14. Uh, but everything else, like you have time, and
Yeah.
13, probably at the beginning of 14, you have time to get them when they're like $2, $3, and then you'll thank yourself because you'll save yourself from another Cavendish, another Bon Clay, another at the beginning of the game, like when Saka was out, another Kuzan, another Borza. I mean, people forget Borsalino and Kuzan were 40, 50, $60 at one
Oh
point.
man, those were the days. That was crazy.
So, and to be fair, I think we're long gone with that. Aside
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
potentially Marco, and even then, he might be lower than we think. Like, I think at its peak, Marco could go back up to 30, 35, 40. Maybe he's only 20, 25 in the heyday of 13, which is obviously expensive. Don't get me wrong. $100 for a base playset of an SR is expensive.
Sure.
But if it doesn't hit Cavendish points, because Cavendish was legit $60, $70 for a while. Uh, Bon Clay as a secret was like 60, 70, $80 for a while. Um,
Crazy
really, those are
times.
like the two. Those are like the two modern cards because we had a bunch of the old Navy cards that got to that height.
Yeah.
Yellow Kata secret, but like in modern times, like '06 and on, uh, it's really just those two cards. And like I think most people are aware, Marco's probably the next candidate. There's a ton of memes like the All Might pointing to Deku at the end, like it's your turn
Yeah.
to be like the overpriced SR.
That's
It's
good.
definitely Marco's turn. But like overall, I think PRB was like decent. I did like that there was less alt in general, so every individual alt was essentially boosted in terms of hit rate. Because PRBR1 had so much, and then there's a wasted hit with the textured events, and then some of them
Oh
would be
yeah,
like
that
full
was
arts,
weird.
and they're not even a full art like the full art Momo. Like what was that?
Yeah.
It didn't even it still had the border of like the text border.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? Like it wasn't even actually full art. So I think it's a step in the right direction. I
Sure.
guess we'll see next year because obviously it's every like fall that they do a PRB. If they continue, I guess they can change it up, which would be fine. Um, but overall, like good set. Meta was fun, but I think at this point we're all looking forward to 13,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I think to lead into that, 13 starts this weekend.
It
Uh,
does.
Pre-release starts this weekend. Well, it's not pre-release technically. It's technically just the anniversary event, which happens to technically give the cards out early, but it's technically not a pre-release.
Hey,
So
that's what they do every year, though. You know, with the first anniversary, second anniversary events. This will be the third anniversary event for another release of a set, and we're gonna have OP13 hitting the shelves, all that good stuff. I'm personally very excited for OP13. I got a little burnt out from OP12 after a while, and I don't think PRB gave me enough spice to make it feel like it was a half set or anything. It was like kind of going back to what you said earlier was not a lot of these cards were really played in this meta. It was kind of they're more useful in future stuff. Like, obviously, like the Charlotte Pudding is a new addition for Katakuri. You got Nami being put into green purple Luffy. Marco, I actually saw some really interesting like blue purple Luffy lists that were running Marco. That
Oh yeah, I
that
saw that too.
yeah, that threw me off. I was like, oh, and I saw what was the other one? Oh, just it was really cool to see. Oh man, what event was it? I think I commentated the core TCG event that had a black yellow ace, or no, excuse me, black yellow Luffy that actually went really far with the new addition of that 5-cost ace, and
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. I was super happy about that. They were running the Bundesliga Luffy too,
Oh yeah.
which I think is one of the cooler promo cards out there. So that was or not promo, but like promotional
Yeah.
alt art card. I guess you could only get at the game. That was a super cool card, and yeah, I think that for me, I'm super excited for OP13. OP13 testing has been really fun so far. And I also enjoy that. I mean, like, I will say this, the power creep is like crazy noticeable in this set. It's like really, really, really crazy noticeable. Like we have definitely taken a step up on the power creep. Emu's insane, like the
That
deck
deck is disgusting.
deck is
Disgusting
yeah,
what Emu does.
yeah, absolutely gross. And it's also very consistent. And then you have the red blue ace being an absolute just juggernaut of defense, being able to apply pressure but at the same time defend yourself behind these 10 cost 12k blockers with like 12 cards in hand, and a leader effect that allows you to trash a brick from hand and get a 2k counter out of it. I mean, like crazy stuff that I feel like in our wildest dreams we wouldn't have imagined One Piece getting to this point, maybe even like 4 sets ago, back in like OP09, when we thought 8 cost Gecko Moria was broken. We were like, oh, this card's so busted, and now we're like, it honestly seems kind of mid now. Like it's like the card's still good, but I mean there's just so many insane things coming out that make me feel like, yeah, card's actually like, I said this in one of the previous episodes. I just think it was before its time. If it had come out now, everybody would have been like, "Oh, that's a solid card." Yeah, but nobody would have been like, "That's broken. That's broken." No, it's just like, yeah, it's pretty good. That's like that does what everything else is doing in some of these colors. So yeah, I mean, I also think you've been playing some red purple Roger. And I personally haven't tried the deck yet. I've played against it a few times. I actually had a really solid match playing as Ace last night on the sim against a Roger, and it was brutal. It felt like I had to draw really well because they drew really well, and they saw like 3 of their 9-cost Rogers that were like buffing their leader to a 9k, and I was like, all right, well, what do I do now? And we also got into this awkward like
A one life dance.
yeah, the one life dance
Yeah.
where we're both at 1 life and we're like, we can't attack each other, because if we do, then the other person, like, we just go to 0, other person plays Roger, game over,
And we die.
yeah. So it was like I will say that's probably my least favorite thing about the mirror for Ace and kind of like red purple Roger, as well as even Sabo. Like red black
Yeah.
Sabo is running Roger, even if it's like a copy of 1 or potentially 2. So it's really, that's like my least favorite thing, is getting into that 1 life dance where you're just like, okay, pass,
Yeah.
I guess. Like
It's really it's silly. Part of me likes it because I think it goes both ways. Because sometimes based on the position, you're just like ahead no matter what.
yeah,
But there are times where it feels like the right swings or like sequencing wins you the game
sure.
in those like stalemates. But it is weird because it's basically one of the first formats, at least in a long time, maybe like '07, '08 versus like Bonnie and stuff. It was a little bit more relevant, where you are just incentivized to like play big body pass,
Yeah.
try to set up like, see, does my big body like do better into your big body. And so like in this scenario where it's like Roger Ace, as if you don't have Red Rock to like bottom deck and Shanks, and I see like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
well now I'm winning because your blockers are only 10k or 9k, and I'm a 7k lead, and I might have like a Kata blocker or like an event up now because I've already played my 10 drops,
Right.
and so I'm more able to like just do things, and that's also part of why at least in Ace and Roger, you're seeing like the 2Ks that awaken you, like
Mm-hmm.
awaken Roger by taking a life, whether it's Thatch or Sanji, because it allows you in these board states where, like, generally speaking, playing a Roger doesn't make you die for either side. Like you just can't die even with the Roger's pressure. Um, so you play it, you pressure them still. They might still stay at 1, but now you're at 1, and now Roger's on board, and now they have to make a choice. Well, if I play a Red Rock on the Roger because it's Roger, well, I didn't play a big body,
Yep.
and then they play another big body, and I'm behind. Or I play this other thing, but now Roger's already on board. He's at 1 life. I really hope he doesn't have Sanji or Thatch in hand, or potentially Sanji already on board versus Ace. If they want to Jozu the Sanji, I think you're pretty happy with that, for example.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes I just play Sanji on 2 because I'm like, show me.
Yeah.
Removal for it. If not, it's going to stay there. And then when I can slam Roger at 1 and go like 7, 7, 12, 12, 13 or whatever. But like that dance, I think there is room for skill expression.
I agree.
But
I
I
agree.
also think no, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
you didn't think so.
It's
But
just
more
annoying
so,
more than anything.
it is annoying, and it's so funny because you're like sitting there, and it's like, why is my best move pass?
Yeah.
Which it's we're just not used to that.
I know.
I don't think necessarily that's bad for the game. I think there's contexts where it's really bad for the game if the best move is just simply pass.
Yep.
I mean I've sat through that versus Bonnie. Like I have 2 things on board and my leader, and it's like I need to just play a third thing and pass, and that's like so frustrating.
Yeah.
And like or if like I like there are times where it's like I have a 2 cost blocker, everything else is events. I guess play 2 cost blocker past 8 on up because I have nothing else to do. Because if I swing, I just like auto lose to like all the freezing and stuff. So like it's not like it's like super new, but especially like in red decks, and like it's like these red decks that are also really defensive. So it's like a weird. It's new. It's unique. I could see it being annoying and like seeing why people hate it. I don't like auto hate it,
Yeah.
but I can see why it's like kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, 13. It's been fun. Like we
It's
did
been
a
really
proxy
fun.
3v3 event like 2 weeks ago with PRB pricing, and my team went 5-0. I went 4-1 individually, and I think our Emu player he went 5-0, and I think our Ace player went 4-1, maybe 5-0 as well. Like our team did great.
Nice.
And really the only game is Roger I lost. I saw quite literally 0 ramp. I think like the first 4 turns I passed, like straight up, which is like absurdly bad, obviously. Um, but I mean, I've been loving Roger. When I do play Emu, I'm like, look, this deck is disgusting. It's like buggy on steroids. Like, and by buggy on steroids, I mean Crockhawk like buggy board setup, which I complained about before on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I think it makes decks you need to be this tall. Emu says you gotta go way.
Yeah.
You gotta be way taller to ride this ride.
Oh.
But it's almost like a floodgate because you can't remove and interact with their board. So basically, you're forced to be like either a Luffy deck that's seeing like triple Magellan to take them off 10 cost, and then they can't pop Magellan because then they lose Dawn with like Marcus Mars, or you have to play a red deck that has Roger, and you hope that you get into Roger range and they don't have like 4 events in hand and like pass with it up. And so in general, like 13 just seems really fun. And then I also think that we're just gonna innovate more. I think
Yeah.
I think Red Green Luffy screams our
Dude.
meta more than it does in Japan.
Dude.
Like I play against it, I definitely see some of the issues it has. Like versus Roger, if I see Shanks's and they don't see like Zoro right on curve immediately, they definitely like struggle. Like it doesn't matter that they have this counter; their bodies are gonna be 5Ks, and I'm swinging 12 every turn. They can't remove them. Like I see that, but I think versus even decks like Emu or Ace that don't like easily have like Ace has to see Red Rock, and you have to not have Tashigi on board, and then Emu literally can't deal with it unless they have Stussy. But same thing, if you have Tashigi on board, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like in those matchups, I think the counter does like make you live.
Yeah.
You slam Zoro, and then Zoro is like going 17, 17, 17, unblockable thanks to like Sanji or something. And so I think that deck has merit to be found, and maybe there's a world that Zoro isn't actually needed aside from Emu, and I just think we'll cook with it more. I think Vegapunk will see more play. Bonnie probably too, just because we like yellow over here. But Vegapunk I think is the better like egghead deck. I
Hmm.
think that 9 cost Bonnie changes a lot, and we've seen. I mean, we saw Vegapunk do good in 12, and I don't think any of us thought it would get second place at a regional in 12, and it did in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see that. I'm sure that Red Blacks. I think Red Black Saba will probably see more play over here.
Yep.
Um, like it just screams like something that we would be more interested in.
So the
Um,
tough part about Red Black Sabo, just to get on that train really fast, is that that deck is like it's a deck that when I looked at it, I said, okay, I think this is going to be a really good deck eventually. It's not going to be a good deck off rip. That was my idea. And then I had a friend that, he was playing some games with it, and I was like, all right, man, wait a minute. You might be onto
yeah,
something. This deck's actually not bad. But it has an absolutely abysmal matchup into Emu. It is basically unwinnable. It is like a 20% win rate into Emu. But Red Black Sabo, it does really well into Ace. It does really well into Green Zoro. It does really well into Roger, to my understanding. It's like it's not a bad deck by any means, but man, it just gets absolutely destroyed by Emu. And the thing is I would expect a lot of people to be playing Emu simply because it's probably going to be the cheapest deck and most, I would say, easy to assemble, probably. Just because you don't really need a lot of like exterior cards. You get most of them from OP13.
hmm
But it's like, I don't think it's going to be a very expensive deck, so I think that's probably going to see a lot of play. The deck is ridiculously strong too. I think the ceiling for the deck is the highest though, so that's why I think that as there will be so many people playing the deck, there's probably not going to be like that many people finding success with it as well. Just because you have to have a really good matchup understanding. It's going to come back down to like your core fundamentals of when to swing, what to swing at, um, dawn allocation, all that good stuff. So it's very interesting. I think it's one of those things that I think there's going to be the three dominants in
yeah,
in this, which I personally find to be Emu, Ace, and Green Zoro.
hmm
But outside of that, you're gonna have those like really strong secondary decks that they're not going anywhere, and some new decks like Roger and Sabo that also will probably make a splash here and there. So I think that Bonnie's probably still not going to go anywhere. I think Bonnie just won the Japan CS
yeah.
like literally
Green Bonnie's still good.
yeah,
Yeah,
2 days ago. So it beat out Emus and Aces and Rogers and all kinds of stuff, dude. So like Bonnie's still gonna be a thing, but I feel like Bonnie's also one of those decks that it's getting phased out, in my opinion, eventually, because even though the leader effect is so good, the inconsistency of the deck is what normally keeps it from topping. Whereas if you look at the other three decks that are topping, it's just consistency. Like Ace can pretty much 9 times out of 10 see all the pieces it needs because of its card draw, all the searchers that it runs. Everything that you need to find is mostly the same archetype, whereas Bonnie's, they're all over the place. All the archetypes are all over the place. And then Emu, all of them, same archetype, very easy to find, multiple ways to search, multiple ways to do search recursion by bringing stuff back and doing it. I mean, multiple ways of cycling your hand as well and drawing. I mean, Bonnie is still gonna be a great. Yeah, honestly, I think I could see Bonnie winning something early OP13. Because I think that 9 times out of 10, when you have these new metas and you have these new leaders, everybody's practicing them, but they're not nearly as practiced as somebody that's been playing Bonnie for the past like 8 sets, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, or well, like 6 sets or something. But yeah, so I think I could definitely see, you know, like those kind of rogue, I'm not going to really call Bonnie a rogue deck, but like those decks that are not put into everybody's top 3 are still very viable and can win. You know, which I think is going to make OP13 interesting. We're going to have this quote unquote triangle meta where you have these 3 best decks that kind of beat one another, and then you're going to have the other decks that are just going to beat 2 of the 3 but lose the 1. So it's like you have to make your trade off and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot. And then eventually we get Roger promo in December. We found that out, and then like not too far in the future. I mean, really 2 months after this, we get to 14, and we're already seeing 14 leaks. We know all 7. Well, I think 1 hasn't been officially revealed, but I mean at this point we know. Like,
I think we
what
got
it's
all
gonna
of them.
be. Have we gotten them all? We might have gotten them.
I think we got all of them
finally. Actually, yeah, we have. They've shown all of them finally.
Yeah.
And so like now they're all officially revealed. I remember, like at this point, it must have been 4 to 6 weeks ago. I was shown these leaders.
Yeah.
It was the proxy leaders in English.
Yeah.
That someone like custom made, and I'm like, well, one, I know that these are literally like proxy leaders. So like the art for sure not real, but I was reading these effects on like 5 of the 7. I was like, dude, these are ass, and so I was like, dude, there's no way. Like they just did 13. Like these are fake as hell.
Yeah.
Like why are you like I don't know who showed you this, but there's no planning. I think part of the reason I was so convicted is because I've been waiting for Mihawk leader. I knew Mihawk leader was real. Like I'm like it's gonna be a green leader. It's coming in 14 because it's the Warlord set. Duh. And I read this green Mihawk leader fake proxy card that they show me, and it says rest a card, restand 3 Dawn. You can't play anything else this turn. And I was like, that's ass. And I stand by it. It is ass. But like, I mean, we've got some support, whatever. But I mean, I think it's worth talking about it because we're going to be in this very soon, and so like, I think Dofi, the purple Dofi that essentially has Okama Way on a leader, just specific to Dofi Pirates, is going to be really good.
Yep.
A 5/5 leader that essentially has like a mix of blue green Rosinante and just Okama Way, because you can target your own leader.
Yep.
So there are almost certainly going to be board states where they're going to try to bomb your thing, and you're like, Dom -1, I'll draw a card. Essentially.
Yeah.
And so I think that leader's going to be good, and then everyone's hoping that it gets like some good on KOs, whether it's like on KO draw a card, or I mean, honestly, I hope that's like the extent of it, because I think this leader is good even if there's no like on KO targets.
Right.
But like if they give stuff like on KO, give your opponent's character -2k for the turn, all of a sudden you just made a free blocker plus a -2 for 1 Dawn.
Yep.
Draw a card. Okay, I Dawn -1, draw a card in the late game, and I also protected myself against a swing.
Think about Magellan dying. Like you play Magellan in the deck.
Well, you can't target Magellan, unfortunately, because you can only target Dofi Pirate.
You can only Don Quixote,
which
Pirates.
is good.
Okay. I was about to say, I was like,
crazy. And I really hope there's no Dawn minus stuff, because if not, Roger is just cooked.
Yeah,
Roger's cooked. And then every other character, like you would probably do it so early because like who cares? You're throwing them off curve.
I could maybe see something with like Dawn -1, but Dawn -2 would be pretty egregious.
Yeah, and so like we'll see, but I think that leader is going to be good. I think the other leader that probably is like the best, just out the box with the support that we know we already have before they give us any more reveals, is honestly probably Red Law. Activate main, select 2 of your Supernova or Heart Pirates type characters and swap their base power during this turn. I mean, the real basic low-hanging fruit is you play a Supernova Searcher on, like, let's say you're going second, or like in the late game it just stays there, and then you play Kid and Killer, swing 7, leader ability. This is now swinging 7 for free. Stuff like that. I mean, that's just really good. It's a 5/5 red leader. We know there's good Warlord, Supernova, and like Heart Pirate cards mix in there. Kidney Killer 1, the new 6-cost law that we are just talking about is another one. And I'm sure we're getting more. Like they revealed some stuff this morning, like some 2-drop 2Ks that have effects that if they're swinging at least 5,000 do something. So like that deck's probably going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
The Mihawk, as I alluded to earlier, I mean it beats Slash leaders because it's a 5-life 6,000 power leader if you're a Slash. I don't know if it actually beats Zoro. To be fair, I don't think that's enough. But like any other Slash leader, being at that disadvantage is pretty big.
Yeah.
And then I think there is potential for like the leader ability, which is activate main, rest the card. If you own a 5-cost, set up the 3-Don as active. You could tap a stage, you could tap a searcher, and now you're just swinging bigger, or maybe doing an event that has an effect. That has some potential, but I mean, I think Bonnie and Zoro are just so much better, like at a base, that we have to see some really good like support cards, which is possible. We saw it for Rayleigh, we saw it for Zoro.
Yeah. I just don't want this to be another Jinbei.
5-cost Shigi.
You know?
Yeah, I don't want it to be another Jinbei, and like, I mean, we'll see. Some of the cards they've already revealed like don't seem too bad. Like there's one that's essentially one Dawn, pop of 7K. You have to rest, I think, 3 other cards, but it technically doesn't have to be Dawn.
I saw
Even
that.
if it is.
I saw no,
Like,
it can be anything. I saw that. So
yeah, it
that,
can
so
be
there
anything.
were
So it could be leader, it could be a stage,
yes.
searchers.
So there were thoughts about that. There were thoughts about running Ark Noah's Ark in Mihawk. So even if you trigger it, right, and you get to rest all of your opponent's characters, then when it's on the board, it has some use because you can tap a card. And I'm pretty certain that even the leader effect, because the leader effect is just rest one card. You can rest
for cards, so you can just
anything.
stay stage too.
Yeah, it could just be a stage. So maybe that deck gets like a really good stage as well. That could be relevant.
I have a feeling we get one. Like,
yeah,
I feel like when you're making a leader that's all based around resting cards, like manually resting cards.
Yeah.
I feel like they understand a stage somewhat has to be playable in the deck. Like you need something that's a free tap, and so maybe it doesn't have like an activate main tap anything, but it might just be like an aura effect. Like
sure,
let's say it's a Muggy Kingdom stage. Muggy Kingdom things are -1 in hand. I don't know. Like there's not that many good Muggy Kingdom cards, so that's why I say like that archetype specifically as opposed to Slash.
Is it Muggy?
But
Kingdom?
At least it's like
Is that
Muggy
that where
Kingdom.
like Muggy? That's where Mihawk's house is located.
His castle is
Oh, I thought it was like Genoa or something like that.
And so I think a stage that like has like some sort of static effect like that or something, or like maybe they could go crazy. Give us a 5-cost stage that says every time you tap something, it counts as tapping 2. Something, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like if they print that, I can see the vision immediately. Like a lot of these, like I think at its core, the leader ability probably is bad. But if you make broken cards, you can make anything broken. Like you can make anything broken.
No, 100%.
So like we'll see. Do they do it is the biggest thing, or do they do it in the first set that it's out? A big thing.
And it's interesting that you say that because literally I was looking again when I was looking over some of these leaders. I was also of the mindset like, man, these don't look that good, And I even made a post about it because, back in OP06, OP07, I had a really good run and a really good tear with Gecko Moria. That was like my bread and butter. I was doing really well with that deck, and I really enjoyed the Thriller Bark Pirates type. I loved playing mono black. It was just everything I kind of wanted, right? But then I see this new Gecko Moria, right? And I'm reading over it. I'm like, okay, this is a 4-life leader. It's a black-yellow dual color leader. And it is activate main once per turn. You may KO one of your Thriller Bark type characters, and your leader and all of your other characters gain plus 1,000 for this turn. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. And then I look, and it has another thing. It says, when attacking, you may trash 3 cards from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. And I was like, oh, dude, that sucks. That's so bad. Like 3 cards.
So expensive.
That's so expensive, right? And so I made this post I was talking about. I said, man, this just doesn't seem good. And I had a lot of people that were posting in the replies of that post on Twitter X, and they were actually giving me really good feedback, because like there were so many things I never considered or thought about, and like they were basically saying, well, like, look, this, you know, this stage is actually going to get used now because you'll be able to bring cards back, and then you can just KO it, do your leader effect thing. It'll you know, basically one tap Dawn, you'll be able to just like recur something that does some sort of useful effect for you. And they were even bringing up examples of cards. You know, 2-cost cards. I actually don't remember the name of it, but there's like a 2-cost card that's on KO. Give your leader plus 1,000 power for the turn.
Oh yeah, I think it's like Jigoro the Wind or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, you know, recurring that through stage effects and KOing that card, and then boom, now our leader is a 7k leader, so I can start attacking, you know, big numbers and everything. And then there was this excuse me, then there was the idea of like, well, yellow Kuma, right, from what is it, OP12, I think. Yeah, yellow Kuma, the most recent secret rare, is a 7 warlords type as well. So you should be able to, like, I would imagine that we're gonna see some form of 7 warlords search either in black or in yellow, right? And so obviously there's gonna be a Thriller Bark type. Like we've already seen one event that's like search for Thriller Bark.
My era for it.
Yeah, it's like search top 3 and then trash the other. And I was like, okay, cool. But I would imagine there's probably going to be some form of 7 warlords search or something that'll allow us to find Kuma more easily in the deck as well. So then we're staying healthy. There's probably going to be cards that are like on KO draw, you know, 2 cards or like 1 card or something, and it's like, oh, just play this card. And like it's also going to have some form of on play effect. Like I could see like a 4/5 with that, maybe even a 4/6 with no counter, having some form of stat line like that. So they gave me hope. I actually see a world where this leader has, you know, really good possibilities. There was also, I think it was Impact, Josh Graham on one of the replies said the coolest thing, and I hope to God that this becomes a thing, was he said, well, think about like you know, an SR for this, you know, a Thriller Bark SR. You end up having like some card that it has like protection removal or so, and then whenever you are basically, however many cards you trash from hand this turn is you can draw that many cards back. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, so you could just heal indefinitely, bro. Or like, you know, something similar to that effect. Like if you trash, for every 2 cards trashed this turn, you can draw 1 card or something. So you find a way to trash 1 card, then you use leader effect to trash 3. You've now trashed 4. You draw 2 cards. You know, puts you at a -1 on hand size, but you know you're up a life. So there's just like there's unique ideas that could be worked in there. And I was like, wow, this is pretty neat actually. I think this is pretty cool. So I'm optimistic that maybe that leader sees a little bit of love. I would love to play Gecko Mori again and have some fun doing that. But yeah, I mean, this is the first. No, actually, no, this isn't. I was gonna say this is the first set that has over 6 leaders, but it's actually false because I think OP01.
First time in a long time.
Yeah, it's first time in a long time because OP01 and
1, 2,
OP02
3 had 8.
Oh, was it 3 as well?
3 as well.
3 as well.
All 3 of those had 8.
Yeah, they had 8 leaders. Yeah. So this is like, but it makes sense, of course. The 7 warlords of the sea.
7 warlords, you know, makes sense.
So we got Gecko Moria. We also had a mono black crocodile, which you and I were talking about pre-recording. That we think this, because the way that this is worded, before I read this off to everybody listening, it just sounds like, why in the world would anybody play this? We'll explain that this is probably going to end up being like a stun deck, or it's going to have like effects that revolve around your opponent's characters being at 0 cost. But it's a mono black leader that reads, all of your opponent's characters cannot be removed from the field by your effects. So you have no removal, KO, trash, bottom deck, anything. Activate main. You may KO one of your characters with the type including Baroque Works and give up to one of your opponent's characters -10 cost for the turn. then you trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. So you can kind of give us an idea, but it's really just like revolving around a lot of the 0 cost idea.
Yeah, it almost certainly has to be around 0 cost. And the only thing that really makes sense is like, okay, stun it. So if your character, like on play, if your opponent, or choose one of your opponent's characters that costs 0, it can't attack next turn.
Right.
Or like negate it
Or
and it can
nullify it.
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and so it probably has to be both, because just nullify, there's not that many cards where just nullifying it is good enough.
Yeah. Other than like blockers, if you're trying to go for game.
Yeah, like blockers, and so like the one event we got is like I think it's essentially 3 Dawn. It's like one of the modular counter events that's both counter and an activate main. I think the activate main is like tap 2. So I think for 3 you simply nullify a 5 drop or less.
Okay, so it has to be a 5
cool.
cost.
Yeah, 5 costs or less.
Oh wait, but then this makes them
but
0, so
in
it
that
doesn't matter.
deck, yeah. And so in that deck you can nullify anything, but it's just nullify.
Yeah,
so you're paying 3 Dawn to just nullify. I think late game, obviously, for blockers, that has a very, very easy way to see how that's pretty good.
Sure.
And then at the counter is if you have 10 or more in trash, give +4 to a leader or character. So basically they buffed Emu really hard for no reason.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Because now as Emu, you can nullify Tashigi, Mars, something that was protected. You can, late game, obviously, you just nullify and swing out. And now it's a +4K counter for no reason. And so you almost certainly just replace the guard point that's in Emu, and now you have 2 1 Dawn +4s.
I think you would maybe go 2 of each, because you're talking about the equilibrium. So the equilibrium event, the reason why that's good is because there are very tricky, like really random 6 costs that are in certain decks that has the ability to remove. So I personally believe that equilibrium would at least stay at 2, and then maybe that new card would be like a 2 of. But yeah, no, that's crazy though. They make this card for Crocodile, and then it's like
immediately better in Emu.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, obviously we're missing all the support that Crocodile may or may not get.
Sure.
But at its core, this card is better in literally like every other meta black deck we've ever had before it's good in Croc.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's good in Lucci because you can, like I said, you nullify the Protector for 3 Dawn, and then you get to actually do your Lucci stuff. And then late game, it's just a +1 because obviously you're going to have 10 in trash. Same goes for Moria. Same goes for, I mean, even BY Luffy to a certain degree, especially now that we don't have Moria.
Yeah.
We're more likely to keep a Dawn up, but now we have this 1 Dawn +4 that late game rests a blocker, essentially, that we kind of, like, not need, but it's like something that the deck didn't have. Emu is another one that's like, yeah, obviously it's really good in Emu. Teach can use it because it's just like the same thing. It's Black Hole, kind of, but because they're on the more control list, okay, I'm going to nullify this. My 7 cost Teach is going to pop something, and late game, I have a +4. And my trash is going to be at 10. And so, like, it's kind of funny that they didn't leader lock this or anything like they had before. Like, at least if it never existed, it was Emu locked. Like, you had to be Emu leader for the defense part.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think regardless, like, I'm excited to see what they do with a lot of these, and because like really the only other 2 leaders we haven't talked about are Boa and Jinbei. Jinbei,
not
I
even
have no
worth.
faith. I have no faith. But activate main, trash a card, give up to 2 rested Dawn to a Fishman or a Merfolk type character. Guys, there's like 3 blue Fishmen. Like, there's like promo Jinbei, banned Jinbei, 2 Arlongs from OP01 that are bad and rotate in like 2 months after this set drops, and Boa's blue. Like, I have no faith.
It's
I
bad.
don't know.
It's bad.
I have no faith. I would love to be wrong because I want to play Jinbei. The Boa I think will be pretty solid on opponent's turn if you play a character, draw a card. So basically, if you trigger a character, and then Don X1 if one of your Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type characters gets KO'd. Your opponent has to add their life to hand. So at least it's not trash life, but seems annoying. We've already seen a trigger body that plays itself for completely free, and you still draw a card because it's a trigger body. So you actually still get the card draw that you normally get from life, but you play this 4/5, and it has like an on PRB02 or something. Like it's a simple one. It's not like a trash life, but
Yeah.
it I'm not. It's just gonna be so annoying.
I think
But
that
like,
decks like this are the reason I don't enjoy yellow. Like I just hate
yeah,
I hate
it's the
this.
epitome. Like even if it's not good, like at its
Yeah.
core, okay, trigger a body, draw a card. So okay, so part of the reason trigger bodies are like or can be a trap is because you lose cards in hand, generally speaking.
Sure.
Whether you literally have to trash to do it, or at the bare minimum, when you take a life, you're supposed to get a card to hand and add a resource. When
Mm.
it's just a, if I swing 5 and you're like, fuck, I gotta take, and then you play this body, I'm like, what changed? You still don't got no cards, right? Oh well, now I draw a card. Okay, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And then Don X1, if I try to control your board while swinging or using a KO effect, I at least bottom deck and bounce gets around it. But if I try to do that, I have to take a life. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
It's
So like,
crazy. So like you're basically damned if you do, damned if you don't. So what like
yeah, it's one of those where it's like it's just so annoying.
yeah.
And then but I can see like like with Mihawk, okay, we're getting into green tapping cards. That's cool. With Moria, if they do give us like I think that deck is probably real if they just give us the 2 cost that says on KO draw 1. Like I think that's probably enough because for essentially, especially with Asgard stage,
Yeah.
for 1 Dawn, you gave like 5 Dawn to your board if you have a full board and drew a card. That's probably pretty good at a base level,
Yeah.
like, overall.
Yeah.
And so like I'm interested to see what they do, but the biggest thing is Emu. I don't see how these do that good versus Emu. Like for
Yeah.
example, Emu does not care about drawing a card from life. They just don't. Like versus this Boa, like they're gonna be countering early anyway. They probably want to draw the life at times.
Hold on. Against now you bring that up. Well, actually, no, you might just be right.
Because they counter out early all the time anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was just gonna say
then,
though, like against Boa, right? I don't know, man. I'm just thinking it's a blue deck, right? So it has access to Pudding, the most broken card in the game, and then 2, it's Boa, so it also has access to the why am I forgetting the name of it? The unblockable
oh,
femur.
Yeah.
Yeah, because femur is what is it? 7 warlords type?
Yeah, 7 warlords, 2 Dawn, give of 7 warlords leader or character +2, it's unblockable for the
Yeah, so the thing is,
and like that's good.
If Emu ends up losing their life too much constantly, right? Then they are very susceptible to that. So you just hit them with a Pudding femur, you know? You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Pudding, get rid of all of your events and stuff like that. Femur, unblockable straight to the dome, and they're like, oh, well, damn, you know? So I don't know. There might actually be some Emu counterplay in there, but a lot of the other ones I can definitely agree. I don't know how. I don't. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
and it goes back to like you got to be this tall to ride, and like and to a certain degree, like what do these do versus Ace? Like Ace is like very similar. It's like I'm gonna wall up. I mean, Croc literally can't KO my stuff. Maybe Moria becomes a more KO focused deck that just can randomly heal, and like that might be like pretty okay if it's able to like easily pop 10 cost, which might not be
Sure.
possible easily, or at least it's like a waste of leader. So it's like, oh well, technically you should just play Lucci, but then at that point we know why Lucci isn't viable because Emu exists. So like, and then also Zora. Like a lot of these decks, just like, what do I do to like 9/9 turn 3? They killed my board and took a life, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I. That being said, like I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to like contest Ace, Roger, Zoro, stuff like that. It's Emu that I struggle with. I mean, I think the Boa line you said is real, but I also think generally speaking, we see Emu just like dump their hand early and they stay at 4 life because they get cheesed by like red decks so often going to 0.
Yeah.
I think they probably play the same versus Boa. They're almost never in putting range. They do the first 10 drop. They're like, I'll take a life. I'll go to 3. And I KO'd your thing. Who cares that I drew a card? I'm at like 5, maybe 7 cards in hand, but like 3 life, full board. They kind of like, sure, you can putting me. Like, it's okay. So, like, we'll see. I mean, stuff like Mihawk, like if we get more stuff like DMG or similar to at least rest the 2 blockers, okay, and then maybe there is lethal lines there because if they only have events, it's like a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like we'll see. Like there's definitely potential just at its core, especially because there's no interaction with like the five elders. It's like, damn, I don't know how you beat Emu, which is a problem. Like I think Emu is 100% like the next deck that gets touched one day.
Yeah, I think
Um,
they messed up with, I don't know. In my opinion, they messed up by making literally all of the cards
yeah,
uninteractable.
uninteractable,
Like,
and so easily too. Like there are times I'm
yeah.
at 9 in trash, like turn one.
Yeah, if it was, I think it definitely should have been more than 7. It's 7 in trash. It doesn't
Yeah,
even
it's
have to be
7 in trash
9,
for
it's
the
7. Dude,
seven,
it's
dude.
like
I think if it was
crazy.
like 12, it would still be like insanely strong. But at
Yeah.
least sometimes early game you could like tempo Jozu,
Right,
like
right.
something.
Yeah. If they
Can't even
don't
do
see
it.
like the one cost event and the one cost searcher like multiple times and get a bunch of draws, they're
Yeah,
definitely not getting to 12 within turn by like turn 3, turn 4. You know,
yeah. They
that
get to
takes a little
7,
bit.
turn one, turn two, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, you're like,
okay,
oh, all right, well, I'm never doing anything to their board again.
yep.
Yeah, so
And
I
so
agree with that. I think there's definitely I think that was a mistake on their part. 7 seems a little light. Like I think it would have
yeah,
been probably fine at 10. Um
yeah.
I also think that um I think that their leader effect, what is it? There's where they get to trash and card and cycle. I think
Oh
it
yeah,
I think it should have been um I think it should have been like kind of requirement that the card that they do trash has to be like active. Like them being able to get a swing and a card draw and everything off
draw.
of like
Yeah,
a yeah.
and
I
then loop it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot.
like
Emu's
bro.
definitely crazy, and I think the only reason I'm not like too mad about it
Yeah, I
is
don't
because
hate it. It's a fun
I'm
deck.
playing red decks,
Yeah.
which are like what has the maybe slight edge, or like it's just easier to beat Emu with like these red decks that abuse Roger.
Sure.
So like I'm definitely somewhat biased because I'm like playing versus my friends on Emu, and they're like trying to starve me, and I'm like, okay, I'll play 10 shanks and pass. I won't swing, so you can't just like Ethan Baron into it and like reduce it.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, that's pretty bad. And then I play a second one, and they're like, don't I just
Oh.
lose? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm like at 6 cards in hand, 5 life. You lost. Like I'm not swinging with these until I have 3 on board, and then at that point you can't trade into them anyways with the minus. Even if you double minus, I'll dump my hand, or like I won't, and then eventually you swing at me because once I have 2 or 3, I could just poke and chip at you,
Yeah.
and then or like I could freely play a kata, swing with kata every time it restands. It can protect my shanks now, even if you reduce it. Like so, like I'm a little biased there, and I'm not saying Roger beats it because I'm just saying like in my experience, like
I actually
I
think
see the lines,
I think
but
Roger
I do
is a good
low key.
matchup into
Low key, I think Roger beats it, but like
I think it
I
is a
need
good
a
matchup into Emo.
I need to play
Yeah.
more. They felt harder when they were rushing me down, but everyone's saying you starve Roger, and I'm like, I think Roger players are just idiots if they're tapping their shanks. If
Yeah.
they're at 5 life and getting starved,
Yeah.
it's just gonna they're gonna go like, okay,
Swing the
eight, or like
reducer.
swing the
Yeah.
reducer, reduce, and then full combo the rest of the dawn on reducer, and now I'm swinging like
Yeah.
I don't know, like 12 into 8, and it's like, yeah, I can't counter that because I've been starved. But aside from that, like, I mean, we'll see. That's why I'm so excited because I'm like, I hope it's an Emu meta. I think realistically it should be. I think let's say Roger does slightly beat Emu. That is not a reason for Emu to not be like the most played deck.
Oh yeah, super good.
Um,
And the
Now,
deck is actually
if
very
Ace is
fun.
smacking
It's
it,
very
yeah, the
fun.
deck is so fun.
Yeah.
That's what's like crazy. I know people like I've seen people like already complain about 13. I'm like, first of all, play 13 and then let's complain about it. If
Yeah, yeah.
anything, let's at least like play it and see if you can find anything with your favorite deck, or if not, one of the new decks.
Hmm.
But Emu is fun,
It's
and you
ridiculous. Yeah.
feel like in control. And when you're playing well and you're doing all this sequencing right, and you're like doing all the loops right, you're like, I'm good. My deck is broken. This is fun. Um, so like we'll see. Like I think it probably gets touched. Probably should get touched.
Yeah.
But like at its core, like it's at the point where there is stuff that can beat it. It doesn't feel as lost cause playing. So like how I equate it, I think green purple Luffy beats Blackbeard. Do not get me wrong. But we have to see a good amount, and it's a lot harder because you don't have searching as easily after like turn 1
Yeah.
to see that. If you don't see it, we just kind of like fault. Like if we don't see Sanji Pudding to be able to do 2 bodies in a turn and stage like
And you
Sanji
gotta have
Pudding,
stage, yeah. Yep.
yeah, we just kind of lose because we sit there, we can't search, nothing gets on plays. Eventually, they're gonna have a setup board. I have no board, I can't kill them. They play 2 blockers a turn at 2 life. Who cares if they have no cards in hand? Emu doesn't really have that because you at least get to do your entire game plan, and it's more so can I get to that game plan before dying and
Sure.
get into these stalemates where like Emu has to think, okay, I'm versus an Ace or a Roger. They're at 1 or 2 life, couple blockers, big board. If I get them to 0, Roger kills me, and you get that back and forth. Because there are games with Emu Roger and Emu Ace where like Emu has to keep you at 1 because they die next turn to a Roger. And so it's like, how do I balance that? And so overall, I think 13 is going to be good. I think Emu is crazy, but it feels pretty skill expressive, which is about as much as you can ask for a deck that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and like, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for 13. 14 looks like it'll be fun. Um, but really, I'm excited to open product this weekend. And then once you're back, I mean, we'll give you the update on how 13 has been so far. And um, I'll be like, I have Miami to go to for 13. I got Dallas to go to for 13. And then
Oh, when is
pretty
Miami?
much beginning. Miami's November 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And so that's
Nice.
my first 13 event. So we're doing that. And then like 2 weeks later is Dallas.
Yeah.
And
I know.
and then it's a break. And then 14's here.
I'm
It's
in
really like
online.
it's so
I don't
fast.
remember when. I got to look it up. But I wasn't able to sign up for a lot of the offline and online events because all of them kind of seemed to coincide with
Yeah.
the time that I'll be in Japan. So
Mhm.
I should be back from Japan on the 12th or the 13th or something like that. And basically, like, there were 2 or 3 events I'm gonna miss during that time, and the third anniversary tournament
Yeah.
and launch of the product and whatnot. But once I come back, I think there was something I'm in. Maybe it's on like the 18th, or I don't remember. uh but regardless, it'll be definitely interesting. The next time we get together, we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about the trip a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think OP13 is just going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those sets that probably will start with us all having like a lot of fun. And then I don't think there's a half set anywhere in this. Like, I don't think we're getting any
Mhm.
like new starter decks or anything.
Nope.
No, it's just OP13 the whole time.
Yeah. Just and then 2 months later is 14.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably get. I think eventually we'll probably all be like, "All right, dude, like on to the next thing," and that's when get all of these leaders that we just talked about for OP14 will be coming out. That'll be a lot of fun, and interesting to see if that shakes up the meta a little bit. We'll see if maybe there's an emu killer hidden in there somewhere.
Hmm.
I think Law could be pretty solid, but
Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, I think until then we'll probably just shelf it here, and we'll come back with a lot of conversation about OP13 live and thriving, and how players are doing or enjoying some of the new meta, as well as the events that are going to be happening afterwards. And then we'll also have probably some conversation on, I would say probably OP14, if not the Treasure Cup. Treasure Cup stuff,
Yeah.
like we've got like some new, what was it? The new prize cards for top 4 and everything. So
Yeah.
all,
The Serial Zoro and all that.
yeah, Serial Zoro. Lot of stuff to talk about for some of the Treasure Cups that are going to be coming up for both November and December. I don't know if there's any more regionals, or other than offline regionals. I don't know if there's any
Yeah.
more online regionals, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the episode. This was episode 24. A little bit shorter of an episode, not like too much shorter than we usually do, but we both have quite a bit to get done. I got a lot of last minute stuff to get done before leaving for Japan, and I'm pretty sure you said you got work, so
I work in 30 minutes technically.
Yeah. So we gotta go. But thank you for listening as always. Whether you're on Spotify or YouTube, guys, we really appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, either give it a like or a share. Share it with a friend. Tell them to check it out. And leave us your comments. We always love to hear what you guys think. And if there are multiple points in the video that you want to reference, try and timestamp them. And because I can't always remember exactly what I said at exactly every moment of an hour and a half long podcast episode. So yeah, I would love to see that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.